Hello everyone, I'm back with another video, and in today's video we have on PlayStation 5, and in this video we're gonna show you guys how to fix the issue for the drifting for your analog stick, and you can do it permanently, not just by replacing it with an original joysticks because they do fail. I'll explain in a minute. We're gonna install a Hall effect analog stick, or as in also known as a magnetic sticks. Those are permanent, and I'm gonna show you the difference. These are the normal joysticks right in here that they have. On the side they have an x-axis and the y-axis, and there's a little button here. When you push down, it will click on it. So it goes like this: x, this one is on y, and x-axis. So what's inside each one of these are pretty much called a potentiometer. What are these are kind of resistance. Those are two plates going on each other, will tell you the resistance, which way they are closer. And the more you use the joystick, it gets even dirtier, and the resistance, it becomes variable, so it would just shift over. So that's why they don't last many years or months, depending how often you use it. So it's pain in the butt trying to open and clean them up or replace them every few months. All right. So you can remove these ones and replace them with this permanent magnetic joystick. So pretty much inside here, there's a tiny magnet that they are separated from the other side, and there's a little space in between them, and the magnet will decide. It's just a potentiometer with the magnets. Will tell you the position of the analog stick. And there's two ways of calibrating this. I'm going to show you guys in this video the easiest way. The hard way is pretty much you have to use a little needle. You have to poke through these holes, and while you're poking it, you have to move a little bit and let go, so it just shifts the center point for the joystick. But I'm gonna save that hassle. I'm just gonna show you the easiest way to do it, and I'm gonna take you on a step by step how to open it up and how you can replace this joystick or analog stick or magnetic stick. All right, I'm going to go over the tools that I'll be using, and every tool that I'll use will be linked in the video description in case you want to purchase yours. So let's get into it and let's get it started. So first thing first, I'll need a mat, little heat mat, because we're going to be soldering. All right. So tool number one, a good screwdriver set. I'll recommend that I fix the screwdriver set, as they have one of the best bits out there. You're going to have this one. You're going to have an opening tool. For the opening tool, I'll be using a guitar pick. A metallic guitar picks are suitable to opening cases and covers. Curved or straight tweezers are a must. We're going to use a metallic spatula. And you need an alcohol, isopropylic or isopropylic alcohol, 98% plus, and one sheet of the workshop towel. The reason for the workshop towel is that because once you put an alcohol right on top, and try to clean the motherboard or the board, it will rip apart before preventing damage on the components. So that's why I always recommend this one. All right, you know, got a trash box here that I have, and we need a scissors, toothbrush to clean, and we are gonna go over the other stuff that I'm gonna be using. We're gonna use a flux. Any type of flux, it will do. I have this big, huge can. You can get a small one. So you need a flux, and you will need a soldering. You don't need the whole roll of the solder. You just can get a small portion. And you need a desoldering wick. It's a really, really cheap desoldering wick. Flux. And what else you need? A sponge, metallic sponge from the kitchen to clean the solder tips. And I'll put this one right underneath so I can drip it in there. Solder stand. All right, so I got my solder station, and we need a hot station. So we have our hot station and the solder station. The hot station, it comes just like this. It's simple hot station. You can get a combo one. Once we have all this on hand, we're gonna get it started. Also, this one is not a must, but this jig is to hold the board in place so on one-handed so I can work better. All right, so first thing first, let's go ahead and open up this gamepad. All right, so what we need to do is first to open up, lift up this triggers at the bottom here. Let me use the opening tool. So we are gonna do this. Next, we're gonna lift up a little bit from here. And you're gonna bring it up gently and slide it towards yourself. So there's that. Next, we are gonna remove this top triggers, the R1 and L1. To do so, you're gonna put the opening tool right at the back, and we are gonna bring it forward, and it just comes out. All right. Once we have those done, now we're gonna remove one screw under each one of those bumpers and one screw on each of the handles at the back. Those are Phillips number 0. So grab your Phillips number 0 and go ahead and unscrew the screws. All right, before I just go ahead and unscrew it, I'm going to connect it to the computer so you guys can see before and after. So let me just pause it right in here and bring my cable, and we are going to connect it. So let's go ahead and connect this one. And once we connect it, we can see right now it's fine, but if you look at the left one, it's like all jittery. As soon as I touch it a little bit, and it stays to the left. I move a little bit, it stays and comes back randomly. It does whatever it wants to. You see, it stays. So this one, the left one is failing for sure. The right one is not failing, but it's not. You see how far it comes really far out? We're gonna fix that too. The rest are not failing. Everything else, it's working fine, except this left one, which is really jitterish right there. And we're gonna fix that. Oh, I hit it on the floor and it just does whatever it wants to. All right, so we're gonna disconnect this one and we're gonna work on it. All right, so let's go ahead and remove the rest of the screws. The one right over here. Now we are gonna lift up the cover. I'm using my fingernails, but I don't want to scratch it. Once I'm in here, we need to lift up this latch a little bit. The left one and the right one. There we go. And it should get released. We're gonna move towards the front end. There we go. Just lift out the back, and the cover from the bottom will come out pretty easy. All right, so after that, we need to disconnect the battery. Grab the battery and just pull the cable, wiggle around, and will get released. We are gonna remove the cover, the screw right at the battery cover right in here. Now, be careful when you remove the cover. You want to disconnect this flex cable, which is for this sensor right in here. You want to pull it up gently, pull it evenly upward, and now you can lift up this battery tray. All right, so we got a flex cable right in here. Grab this blue plastic and slide it upward. This side too, this blue one, and slide it upward. We're gonna desolder these cables in here. You see this yellow, green, black, whichever we have one right in here. Or you can take a picture so you know the color orientation and where they go. So that makes it really easy for you to solder back on as a reference point. All right, so I'm gonna heat up my solder station and we're gonna work on that. So before that, we're gonna lift up this flex cable gently up. and we have to pull this one out, which I can't get my fingers in there, so I'm gonna try to find the tweezers stuff, but I don't have it right in here. I'm gonna try to do it by, I'll put it right in here, just wiggle it out. It will come out pretty much. But there's no more screws in here. To release it, there's a tiny latch on each side. One is in there behind the connector. So right there, and the one is on the other side, right by the potentiometer, right there. And I can bring it up and flip it over, and there we have the joysticks. But I'm gonna disconnect these cables quickly. I'm gonna put a little bit of flux right on the contacts. There we go. Now we are gonna desolder them. So I'm gonna grab one cable. There we go. All right, now we can lift up the motherboard with the whole joysticks and everything. I'll put this one in one side, and we're gonna work in here. There's a speaker in here. Just lift up the speaker. The speaker goes like that. So you can just look at it. It comes like this. So when you put it down like that, it goes like this inside that hole, right in there. All right. So we're gonna remove this cap right on top, and always make sure the caps do fit on the new joystick that you want to put it. All right. So we are gonna get it started. First thing first, we're gonna heat it up. So I'm gonna try to remove this plastic in here by placing a little bit of alcohol right on top and trying to remove this. Remove this foam so you can reuse it. You don't want to damage it. All right. So now we're gonna work on this side. I'll bring my jig to hold the board in place. Well, I'm gonna bring it in this position, a little bit like that. We're gonna lock it down so it stays steady. And we are gonna apply the flux right on the pins, right over here. And what are we gonna do in here? First, we're gonna try to desolder them by putting a low melting solder on top. So I'm gonna grab my low melting solder. So this is my low melting solder. What I'm gonna do here, let's clean up the tip. I have a little bit of low melting solder. I'm gonna grab a little more here. This one, it is dried out pretty much really bad. I'll put it in there. So clean it up again. So what we're gonna do in here is to apply low melting solder on the joints. So we're trying to mix the old solder with a new solder with a low melting solder temperature. So once we heat it up a little bit, it's just gonna fall off from the other side. You're gonna do the same thing on the other side. All right. Now we're done with that. What I like to do is to put a little Kapton tape on the protecting the buttons, everything around it, the plastics all around. So I'm gonna cut a little bit of the Kapton tape. You can use a foil tape to protect the components around it, the plastic around it. Now I'm gonna use my heat gun, and I will need a little tweezers or pliers. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hold it from the bottom, from the neck. I'm gonna pull it down as I'm heating up the uh, joysticks. I'll set my heat gun at 380, and I'm gonna start heating it up. And there we go. This is how easy it comes out. So we're gonna do the same thing on the other one. Let me see if I put this one here so you guys can see. Oh, it did come out and it fell off. It was pretty easy. And there we have both of them. So there we got both of the potentiometers out, and we cleaned up nicely. So everything is out. Now we're gonna clean up this spot a little bit, and we're gonna work on it. We need to open the holes for the new joystick. So let's clean it. We don't need the Kapton tapes anymore. All right. So we're gonna use the solder wick, and we are gonna cut a little bit, and we need to dip it right inside the flux. Always put a flux on the wick. It makes it easy for absorption of the solder. Let me clean this one up. Clean the tip. So what are we gonna do here? We're gonna put a fresh flux right on the board, on the pins that we're gonna open. All right. Now we're gonna put the wick right on top, and we're gonna hold it, and it will absorb easily, and it will open the passage for the new analog to go in. And as it starts absorbing, you can go ahead and cut them out a little bit, so it becomes easier to use. Need to put a little bit of more flux. Flux is your best buddy at this job, so don't hesitate to use as much as you can. So there we go. Most of the holes are nicely opened up. So double check, just run nicely across. There we go. Now we can go ahead and clean it up to observe and to see if everything is nicely opened up. There we go. It looks pretty good and all the joints are opened up. So we can test it by placing the analog stick from the bottom towards the top and make sure it fits in, it goes all the way in. If it doesn't go all the way in, that means one hole might be stuck, not opened up all the way. So I see that there is one not opened up, which is the one on the side. So I'm going to work on that one a little bit. This one right in here. So let's work on that one. There we go. I can actually see it physically. That is opened. So where do I put the joystick? Who knows? There we go. So I'm going to put it underneath. And there we go. It sits nicely flush with the board. So I know that one is open. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. So let's go ahead and clean up. I put flux on it already. So let's go open the holes for this side. I'm going to fast forward this part maybe. Right? That one is opened up too. So we're going to clean it out, test it. Grab your joystick. Make sure you clean the bottom too so you don't have those old dirty flux. There we go. Nicely opened up and it stays right flush with the board. Perfectly fine. Okay. There we have it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually test it out a little bit. I'm going to remove the board. Double check the other side. Clean it up a little bit. So once it's nicely in place, so we're going to bring and place the joysticks. I'm going to replace both of them. So put one right there. I like it when I put it there, I'll hold it in my hand like this so I can have a nice pressure, even pressure evenly. And what I do, I'll put a flux right on the each corner. On every pin, let's go ahead and put it. And I'm going to start soldering it in with a regular solder. So I'll put one in there, one cross. Anyway, once I put these 4 joints in there, then I'm okay. All right, then I'm going to bring the other one in. I need one more potentiometer. And I'm going to put the flux right on top. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put 4 joints on each corner, one in there, that one, That one right there. So now I know that it's in place, nice and even. So now we can continue to do the tiniest solders on the other pins. So I'm gonna grab enough solder and I'm gonna do quickly. 1, 2, 3. Don't hold it for too long. Make sure you don't hold it for too long. People hold it for too long, you can damage them. 1, 2, 3. This one is done. Let's move to the next. Now we're gonna clean it up again. I think this will be 1 second last clean. And make sure you remove all those old flux. There we have it. Nice and clean, new joysticks placed in. So we're gonna remove the jig here. We're gonna bring the board and we are gonna set it down. Oh, put the caps on. Okay. Put this plastic that you removed on the speaker section. Right there. Now move all the cables out of the way and place it right in there. Use a tweezer to bring the cables out. All right, once the cables are out, what do you want to do? You want to solder this cable that you removed. Take a picture based on the picture that you took. You're going to start soldering it back on. All right, so we're going to solder them quickly. The red one goes all the way to the bottom. The black one goes in there. The green one goes next. The yellow one goes all the way to the top. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. The black goes in the second. And then it goes green and yellow. There we go. All right, we can turn off the solder station, but we don't need it anymore. And we're going to put everything back together. So first thing first, you want to put this one, slide it in, this flex cable right there. And you want to slide in the flex cable for this one in this corner, slide it in. Slide it in. Slide that one in. Grab the battery. And put that one in there. Put one single screw under the cover for the battery tray. There we go. Now you want to put this flex cable right in there. All right. And to finish it off, grab the battery connector, plug it in. It only goes in one way. And set the cables right beside it. Put the cover on. Make sure you haven't missed anything. Grab this one in 45-degree angle. Bring it right under the joysticks. Push it in. It has to click in. It didn't click in, so that means it didn't go in all the way in. So I have to reopen it. If we go there, there we go. Once it's in place, now all you need to do is to put this screws right on the top and on the bottom. I'm just gonna do this side quickly. And I'm gonna show you guys how to calibrate if it's not calibrated. First, we're gonna connect it and see how it goes. In my bit back, it says on the right R1 is for the right one. It only goes in one way, slides in, and it should snap into the place. And left one, there we go. Grab this faceplate, put down the 45-degree angle down this plastic cover, and then smack down the rest of the place and pinch it down, and it will go to its place. And there we have it. So let's go ahead and connect it. All right, so we're gonna connect this one in, and let's see, it detects, and it is dead center, so I don't need to recalibrate this one. If yours is really offset just like this and it's not recalibrated and stuff like that, it's really simple. All you need to do is to go to this website and you're gonna click I understand. I'll leave the link in the video description, and you're gonna click connect, and you're gonna find your DualSense wireless controller. Click connect, and in here you're gonna see this offset position just like this, or whichever it is if it's not calibrated. And then you want to click on the first button right on the top. It says calibrate this stick, and you're just going to follow the instruction. It says calibrate, welcome, step 1, step 2. On step 1, it's going to ask you to hold it in one place and let go. It's down, left, let go, left, bottom, let go, both at the same time, and it's going to just auto calibrate itself. So you can do this one if you want to recalibrate your joysticks. And I hope you guys like this video and helped you guys out. If you want to support the channel, you can click that like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. If you have any question or request, feel free to leave them in the video comment. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.